Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the TMZ Podcast. I'm Charlie Cotton and joining me today is TMZ Sports icon, Ed Lewis.
Icon.
You are an icon, mate.
I love that.
So we got you in today to obviously talk about the horrible events that transpired yesterday in Kansas City at their Super Bowl parade. We've got other stories too, but let's just get straight into that because, God, how horrific, and it's shocking, but these days, less so.
I know, and I guess you shouldn't be shocked by it, but this is so unimaginable to me given the situation and the circumstances. I mean, this is your city, your team winning a Super Bowl, celebrating, and in the fashion that they were celebrating. You know what I mean? Like Travis Kelce is drunk on stage singing Garth Brooks, and Patrick Mahomes is ripping the microphone away, being like, no, it's fine now.
Right.
Everybody's laughing, having a great time. Hundreds of thousands of people. The parade went off without a hitch. Willie Gay is shirtless in the street, celebrating. They're drinking Hennessy. Everybody's plastered. I mean, it seems like a great time. And then all of the sudden, you could see videos of it on our website, TMZsports.com and TMZ.com. You see just a shooter open fire on a crowd of people. And in the videos, you can hear it appears to be a semi-automatic or an automatic weapon.
Wow.
It just does not appear to be some sort of Charlie and I are beefing, I have a gun in my pocket, I shoot you, and there's a couple stray bullets somewhere. You know what I mean? This appears to be some sort of, whether it's coordinated attack or a planned attack. I mean, this does not appear to be some sort of argument between two people that spilled into. I mean, they are saying 22 people were hit with gunfire, and at least one person is dead. And every time they provide an update, that number goes up.
Right.
So it's unimaginable. I obviously we've seen it at concerts, we've seen it everywhere, schools, but a Super Bowl parade in your city where everybody is happy. It blows my mind.
Yeah, the fact that it was just a hometown parade and someone, assumedly from Kansas City, but God knows. I
Right.
mean, they have arrested the alleged attackers, though. Do we know anything about these
No,
guys?
and that's even the police are giving updates almost hourly at this point, and they said now they have 3 people that are being detained. However, they don't say whether there were the shooters or not. They just simply say they were armed near the area, if that makes sense. You know
So
what I mean?
maybe it was just people who had brought their guns for stupid reasons.
Because Missouri is you can have guns. I mean,
Right.
that's you're allowed to have them. So who even knows if the 3 they have detained are actually the culprits? So the whole thing is wild. Obviously there's so many people there and so much video that this is all going to get hashed out eventually, and cops are going to figure out a motive and figure out who did it and why they did it. But right now, it's like I said, it's inexplicable and unfathomable that at this time, in this juncture, at a Super Bowl parade, you're going to open fire. And get this, last night we got a statement from a children's hospital in Kansas City, and they said they treated 12 patients from this incident. 11 were kids, 6 years old to 15 years old.
Wow.
What are you blasting children for at a Super Bowl parade?
Wow.
I don't know. It's one of the craziest stories I've ever covered at TMZ.
So the victim who died was a mother named Lisa Lopez Galvan, and she was a local DJ. She played on like the radio station there. Was a all-round lovely lady by all reports, and was in the wrong place at the wrong time when some idiot just started indiscriminately firing off shots.
And it's tragic, too, because we've seen her Facebook page and her social media page, and, like, she's a huge Chiefs fan. I mean,
Yeah.
you're kind of a sports guy. You know, I know you like the Broncos and stuff. I mean, imagine, like, you rooted for this team all year long. They won the Super Bowl. You go to the parade, and you're expecting, like, this is going to be one of the most joyous days of my life, and you lose your life?
Yeah.
Like, where are we in society?
You
know?
just can't go anywhere anymore, especially to crowded events, and not be thinking about that possibility a lot. Like, I don't know, like, I used to go to a lot of music festivals.
Mhm.
Like, Coachella's coming up. I don't know if I feel safe at an event like that or anywhere these days. It's just, it shouldn't have to be such a concern, but it is.
You would not believe the police presence at this Super Bowl event as well. I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I remember them saying it yesterday that there was like Kansas City police and FBI agents and I mean agencies from all over the area plus federal were there. I think they said somewhere in the area of 800, police law enforcement members were there. And obviously you saw it in the video that as soon as the gunshots fired, there's police running, sprinting into action. So I'm assuming it was a lot less worse than it could have been because of police presence. But still, I mean, you go to this thing expecting 800 law enforcement members, including feds, and it still happens.
Yeah.
It is mind-numbing.
So there's some interesting stories coming out of it. There's that video of the hero dad attacking, like apprehending a would-be attacker. Like there's someone fleeing. Is it Union Station there it was at?
Yes.
Someone fleeing Union Station on foot, and this dad jumps at him, tackles him to the ground, and this guy's got a gun on him too, and just holds him there and waits him for police. So there were some good guys there, like trying to help.
Yeah, and we heard about this morning. Even Jackson Mahomes, according to a witness on Twitter, or I guess X now, was involved, I guess, caught up in kind of the shooting, and they were hiding out, and I guess a child had been kind of panicking, losing its parents or whatever, and he comforted them. So, I mean, there were a lot of heroes here, including Patrick Mahomes' little brother, So, but yeah, I mean, that video you're talking about, you could see it on our website. A bystander pulled a gun that's like the size of your leg away from that man.
Wow.
I mean, it was a massive rifle. Like,
that's bravery.
What are you carrying that for at a Super Bowl parade? So there's a lot. I mean, this whole thing is
a lot. Yeah,
it's a lot.
Well, I mean, we also got to talk about Travis Kelce because optics for him aren't so great this morning.
This is one of the biggest missteps I think Travis Kelce has ever made. And I'm hoping that it was fueled by alcohol. You know what I mean? Because again, if you watch that parade, I'm not sure he was coherent. I mean, he's trying to sing Garth Brooks and he gets 3 lyrics right of the whole song. But yeah, a couple hours after the shooting, Travis was spotted at a restaurant, apparently with other Chiefs teammates. And at one point before he goes in, he's taking selfies with police and smiling, and he has an open beer, or appears to have an open beer in his hand. And the optics of that are just so bad. I mean,
just so bad. Like continuing to go out and party with a smile on your face after so many kids have been injured and a mother has been killed. It's like, why? Like, he was having a good time at the parade beforehand, but when something like this happens, I don't care like how much you're drunk already or you were in a festive mood already. If you want to keep the party going, at least do it at someone's house or somewhere. Like, it's just terrible optics to be like still enjoying the festivities after all of this horrific tragedies have happened.
And Kelce's like Batman to me in Gotham. You know what I mean? So if like Kelce goes to Kansas City and says, that's got to stop. You know what I mean? I feel like people listen to Travis Kelce in Kansas City. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, and if he's just out there like, oh, 22 people got shot and 1 person dead, I'm going to go drink a Bud Light and party with cops. Like, it almost gives it the okay. And you know what I'm trying to say? Like, you have to put on a face here and be like, this is unacceptable and it's not going to happen in my city. David Ortiz did that in Boston. Remember the bombing at the Boston Marathon? David Ortiz came out and said, not my city. I don't think it's happened since. You know what I mean? Like, so
they are gods to
I completely
their people.
agree. They are. If Patrick Mahomes or Travis Kelce gets in front of a shooter and says you're not doing this, they're not doing it. You know what I mean? They are that big, that larger than life in that city. So it's and again, I don't think it's a great look for the cops either. You're out there. You're supposed to be investigating a crime, and you're out there. Sup, Travis? I hated that photo. I'm not the guy that's like, oh, that's such a bad look. That to me was horrendous on everybody's party.
And yes, I mean, Swifties think it's a bad look too, calling red flag. Like, it was just like, he wasn't thinking much because he was that drunk.
Right.
But have someone in your camp to say, Travis, just
stay home.
Stay home or go over to somebody else's home if you want to enjoy yourself. Like, it's bad to be out on the streets
Right.
celebrating.
And then you
still.
don't know what else has happened in that city. I mean, this just happened in Super Bowl parade. What's to say it's not going to happen, at a restaurant or a
Anywhere.
bar that night, So
Anywhere.
I didn't love that.
Awful, awful. Okay, Ed. On to our next story. Kanye West wants Swifties to love him. So he took offense, kind of, to Swifties trying to get Beyonce's song to #1 over Kanye's song. So Kanye's currently #1, but the Swifties were all trying to band together to stream Beyonce to knock him off top spot. And to that, he posted a long Instagram tirade, all in capital letters, basically trying to say that he has helped Taylor over the years, way more than he's hurt her. So, all in capitals, he says, "Remember when I was on Taylor's side when Scooter bought her masters behind her back? She and Beyonce are big inspirations to all musicians. We always say how both sell out tours and movies. I'm sure I've been far more helpful to Taylor's career than harmful. Taylor Swift fans, I am not your enemy, but I am not your friend either." He also invokes Shaq. He defends himself at the Super Bowl, where people said he allegedly wanted to sit right in front of Taylor. Do you think Kanye is genuinely trying to get some love back? Or is this kind of a financial, I really want to be #1 play?
I mean, obviously it's the latter. I don't think he cares one bit about Taylor
Right.
Swift. But I will say that he's probably not wrong about the Taylor Swift part of it. Like, I'm not sure anything he's necessarily done to her has hurt her career. It's hurt her, obviously, emotionally. Like,
Right.
what he's done is still terrible to her. But as far as career goes, he's not wrong. I mean, anytime Kanye invokes her name and the way he does it, it just elevates her status,
That's true.
Like, it makes people more aware of her and her music, and wants to make people more interested in her, and learning about her and Googling her, and that in turn.
But I'm sure she would say, I can do it by myself.
Oh,
without-"
and that's the other part.
You know?
She doesn't need Kanye.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, but he's not necessarily wrong. That all being said, though, he has been horrible to her. I mean, right? Like,
Yes.
this has been now years, and even in a new song, he's brought her up, right? I mean, it's been going on for years now. I mean, just stop. She doesn't need you. I'm sure she wants you to get her out of her life and move on. So, but again, I don't think it's hurt her career, and maybe that's the point he's trying to make.
In another part of this, like, little tirade he went on, he basically said that he feels it's kind of racist what the
I did
Swifties
see
are
that.
doing, except for the fact that they're trying to elevate Beyonce
Right.
over him. He
Right.
forgot that fact, but God, I don't think the Swifties will fall for it, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know why they would. Again, like you said, they don't need you, kind of.
Right,
I
they
mean,
don't.
like, Taylor is massive on her own, and she could do it all. And in fact, if you just moved away,
That'd be
I think
just
they're
fine.
trying to do that.
Yeah. Okay, on to our next story. Johnny Depp has a bromance with an interesting figure, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. So this guy's got a very checkered history. He's allegedly really bad guy, dangerous guy. Saudi Arabia in general is known for human rights violations, and that's why a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth about the country. But now Johnny Depp is like talking about it in a Vanity Fair article, saying, "Though I admit I was somewhat naive at first with what was transpiring in the region, I've since experienced firsthand the cultural revolution that is happening there." Now, keeping in mind, he's also in line to be like one of the new advocates. He's going to be the nation's global cultural ambassador, for which he gets a 7-figure deal. This crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, is like richer than God. And so when Johnny Depp's been over there with him, he's been staying in the royal palace, helicopters, yachts, private planes. He's enjoying the money that comes with being friends with the crown prince. But people are like, Johnny, why are you like cozying up to this guy who's like supposed to be pretty awful?
I was waiting for this to infiltrate the celebrity world. It's been happening for years now in the sports world. Initially, it started with boxing. Almost every major boxing event is now there.
Yeah.
And it's because they just throw money at them. You know what I mean? Like Floyd Mayweather has an exhibition there every so often. At Tyson Fury fights there. I mean, big boxing matches go there. Most recently, though, it's been huge in the golf world. I don't know if you're familiar with Live Golf.
Totally.
And all of these superstars, I'm talking Phil Mickelson and Bryson DeChambeau, I mean, John Rahm, some of the biggest golfers on the planet. These guys are like the Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady's of the golf world. Have gone over there, you know, and accepted what people are calling blood money. They're calling it like sports washing, trying to mask what the atrocities they have there with. Well, we got Phil Mickelson and we got Johnny Depp.
They're trying to make you forget.
And we got Floyd Mayweather. So why don't you look over here while we do this over here? And it's the way it's going over there right now. They're just trying to get as many celebs and as many stars to kind of look at the left hand while we do this with the right hand, or it appears that way, you know? So I've been waiting for this in the celebrity world, but it's been happening for a long time in the sports world. And the people that are criticizing Johnny Depp have been doing the same to the Phil Mickelsons, the Bryson DeChambeaus, the Anthony Joshuas for years now in the sports world. And there's so much money that I think the athletes are just choosing to look the other way. I mean, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars for Phil Mickelson and these guys. So
right, and God knows what Johnny Depp's gonna earn or what he's getting out of this deal. Like under the table, and it's a bad look though. My God.
Yes.
Okay, on to our final story. This is a new segment we've got actually, Ed. You haven't been here for the new segment. It's called Almost News.
Okay.
A story that didn't quite make the cut, but we're gonna talk about it anyway.
Okay.
So I love this story. I don't know if you've ever seen that YouTube show Hot Ones where the guy, his name is Sean Evans, celebrities have to eat increasingly hot sauce while answering questions. Well, he was just in one of the shortest relationships I've ever heard of, less than 24 hours. Secretly, for ages now, he was in a relationship with a porn star, Melissa Stratton. And then yesterday, she posted photos of them together, somewhat sort of confirming their relationship. TMZ did the story that they're in a relationship. And like that, he broke up with her on Valentine's Day because he didn't want like the public sort of scrutiny. I think he was embarrassed about dating a porn star probably. And so he wanted to keep it under wraps and do it privately. And then when his friends and family and the world found out, he dropped her.
I think that's absolutely what happened, and I think it's so unfair to Melissa.
Totally.
Particularly because it didn't appear to be any directive to Melissa to keep it under wraps. They were at the Super Bowl, and she's taking selfies with him, photos with him, and he's obliging. And what does he think is going to happen with these photos? You know what I mean? Like, do you take photos and just bury them in your phone? Like, no, It's 2024. You put them on social media. People are going to find out. If there had been some sort of agreement, like, hey, let's keep this in a wrap, I'm in love with you, but like, I don't want this to be public, at least not yet. Like, I get it. But from everything we're hearing and we're reporting, it doesn't seem like any of that happened. You know what I mean?
No. And like,
so unfair.
He has a public profile. She's got somewhat of a public profile. He knew what he was getting into when he started the relationship. So to be sort of embarrassed about it now enough to break up with her like on a dime on Valentine's Day, it's just like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's a sad story. And she has 250,000 followers on Instagram. Like, you knew one post has the ability to go viral, especially with how famous he's becoming. That Sydney Sweeney video went super viral, when he was in the Hot Ones. Like, he's becoming a star too. So, yeah, that poor girl. I woke up this morning, read that story. I felt sad for her.
I woke up this morning and did a bit of research into what
oh, yeah. Obviously. It's a big story. We needed it.
We needed to. Would you ever date a porn star, Ed? I know you're single and you're like a bit of a man about town. Would you ever date a porn star?
Yeah. I mean, if she was a good girl and she was cool, yeah, why not?
Any porn stars out there listening?
Yeah, I'm single.
Single. Okay, Ed, thank you so much for joining me today, mate. And we will see you guys here tomorrow. Goodbye.